All right, let's get to the division conversation. We're going to start it off with the NFC East, the NFC least. In one word, the NFC East was awful. Washington football team, they're a quarterback away. Their defense is rolling. They got McLaurin on the outside. Ron Rivera has those boys playing good, but come on, man. Alex Smith, Taylor Heineke, and Dwayne Haskins. You got to find a quarterback. Dallas. Well, y'all got to pay Dak. And then y'all just going to be 8-8 because Dallas's defense was terrible. Thank God they fired Mike Nolan because that was just that experiment was awful. Zeke is overpaid and overweight and slow and just not Zeke anymore. But they got to pay Dak because that offense lost all competence to like the last few weeks of the season, man. I don't really know where they go from here. I say you got to pay Dak because I want Dak to get paid, but if we really think about it, that team has so many holes on it. Unless Dak takes a pay cut, man, I don't know how you make them a contender unless you think Dak is that good. And he was putting up big numbers, but it didn't add up on the field. It didn't add up to wins. And I'm afraid that he's good stats, bad team guy. Eagles, blow it up. Roseman, gotta go. Doug Peterson, gotta go. Wentz, gotta go. I just think that culture there is bad. Um, Doug Peterson can't call a game to save his life. He's nothing without Frank Reich. Carson Wentz is a diva who got overpaid too early, and he leaks things to the media. He's not a leader. He's not good right now, and I don't know what the problem is, but he has to get out of there. And Howie Roseman just made some questionable decisions as a GM, and it's not working. If I'm Lurie, I'm firing everybody. But if not everybody, I gotta look at my coach or my GM first. All right, AFC East, the new king in town. After years of domination by the Patriots, the Bills have won their first division since what, 95? Yeah, they won their first division since like 1995. Third year straight in the playoffs, and they're trending upwards. They have a young Josh Allen who's looking great. Well, he's my number 3 MVP candidate. They Man, if you take away the Hail Murray, they're 12 and excuse me, they're 14-2 going into the playoffs on a 10-game winning streak. They're looking real spicy, man. I think they may be here to stay. They may be the new face of the AFC East. The Dolphins, is Tua time already over? I mean, they tanked for Tua, and now they might be sinking because of him. Now, I don't think Tua's done. I think he needs an offseason. I think he needs a couple of weapons. I think he needs a new offensive coordinator because Shane Gailey's stuck in 95. But maybe they don't think Tua can open it up. Maybe what they're seeing in practice lets them know that he can't open it up. But whatever the case may be, Tua has to throw the ball down the field because if he continues having games with his yards per attempt like a good running back, 5 yards an attempt, 6 yards an attempt, they're not going to be anything. And Brian Flores will be another failed Patriot coach. And think that I don't think he is that kind of coach. I think he has it figured it out. He really turned that franchise around in 2 years. They play hard, good defense, good special teams. I mean, they came a game short of the playoffs, but my God, in that final game, they got 30 pieced. The Bills put up 50 on them in a game that actually mattered. The Pats, well, I opened up saying that the Patriot way doesn't exist anymore. So what else do we say? Do we kill Cam? Do we let him go? Do we start Stid? Do we go to get Mac Wilson in the draft? What do the Patriots do, man? Their defense is going to be better when they get the opt outs back, but who gives a damn? They can't move the ball. Cam had like 10, 10 passing touchdowns on the season, maybe. I want to say he rushed for more than he passed as a quarterback in the NFL. I don't know if Cam can't throw anymore, if they didn't let Cam throw anymore, or if the weapons were that bad, or if it's just all three. But whatever it was, the Patriots, I mean, they still played hard. They still played good defense, but that offense was, man, putrid, man. I couldn't watch it. I, I was rooting for Cam early on, but Jesus Christ, I couldn't watch that mess, man, because it was just really really bad, man. It was just bad football. The Jets, is it Fields or the field? Do you draft Justin Fields with the second overall pick, or do you trade the second overall pick and run with Sam Darnold? Because you can get a haul, but you can get a lot for that number 2 pick. Because you have what we thought was a competent quarterback who sees ghosts every now and then. But Whoopi ain't never hurt nobody. So what do you do? Do you ride out with Sam, or do you go get Justin or Matt, or do you go get Wilson from BYU? I don't know what you do, man. I just know they got rid of Gase, which is a step in the right direction. And maybe Joe Douglas can continue to draft well, and he'll get his guy in there, and the Jets maybe will develop a pulse because they haven't had one since Todd Bowles left. All right, let's go south. NFC South. I call this division the retirement home because it's a bunch of old quarterbacks. You have Brady 43, Breeze who's like 41, 42, and Matt Ryan who's in his late 30s. Then you have Teddy Two Gloves, but who really cares? The Saints, Shock Breeze and Mike Thomas. I can't read my damn notes, but look, the Saints, they won the division like they should have. They had the best team in the division. They played well from beginning to end, but something is missing. It's like they're missing some sizzle. They're missing some pop. I don't know what it is that they're missing. Maybe because Drew Brees can't throw the ball down the field at all, and Mike Thomas has barely played this year. I'm shocked. Okay, now I remember. Now I'm shocked that the season worked as well as it did, honestly, because shoot, you had Drew Brees who came out and made his comments. There was some division in the locker room, but they worked through that. And then you got Mike Thomas fighting players. Then he's getting hurt. I just didn't expect them to be that good. But here's the thing: this season means absolutely nothing if they don't win a Super Bowl. It means nothing if they don't win the Super Bowl. They're in cap hell. They loaded it all up to make it happen this year because Drew Brees is going to be in the press box next year calling games. And then they're going to be stuck with all these contracts. They're going to have to offload them, and then they're going to go back to being the Aints, paper bags, and everything, all in 2 years. Then Payne can go take his dream job in Dallas. But yeah, man, I the Saints won the South, but they're not going anywhere in the playoffs. The Bucks, bro, Brady's on stem cells, man. His rejuvenation this year, 40 touchdowns, 4,000 yards, man. I thought he was cooked, man. Y'all remember I said that Brady and Gronk was that old G wagon, and the gas light was on, and they were just waiting for it to go on. I guess it's a hybrid or something where they got some solar panels on that thing because they've been riding in the sun, and them boys are still moving. Now, I'm not gonna tell you where I think they finished the season at, but can the G Wagon end up running out of gas in Tampa because maybe it never had to leave the parking lot? It's looking like it. They're going into the playoffs hot, and can you really bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs? You can. I won't. The Falcons blow it up. I gave a take on the Falcons on the regular pod last week to close it out, so I'm not going to go in too deep on that one. But just blow it up. Already got rid of coach, GM. Just get rid of everybody. Get out of cap hell and let's start fresh and try to build a sustainable winner. Carolina, no CMC. No CMC. What can you really take away from that? They played hard. They obviously have some talent there. I think Matt Rule was a good coaching hire. I think the NFC South is gonna do a cartwheel next year. We just gotta wait to see what happens this off season. But I think Carolina's gonna be super competitive in that division and look, it's gonna be a good looking wild card team in the next year or so. AFC South, the tire fire continues. This is one of the wildest divisions in football because you never know what's going to happen each year. There's not a constant team that you can just rely on. Yes, the Titans are making the playoffs for the second year in a row, but are they a team that you can actually count on? Did we expect them to come back and be this? I mean, Houston won the division last year. Did we expect Houston to bounce back? Do we expect them to bounce back if they hire the right coach? I don't even know because hell, they might not have a quarterback. And the Colts. But anyways, Titans. All hail King Henry. What else do I say? 2,000 yards, 17 touchdowns. He carried them. Arthur Smith, FedEx, all that. Yeah, he's FedEx to them. The Colts. Ain't no luck in that river, man. Ain't no luck in that river. Philip Rivers, man, he's carried him. He's doing well enough. Jonathan Taylor ended up running the hell out of the ball at the end of the year. He was number 3 in rushing, 1,500 yards. He had a great rookie campaign. I mean, he's not going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, but it's okay. He had a great season, but Philip Rivers and Andrew Luck. They finally got the team that Andrew Luck wanted, Andrew Luck needed, but Andrew Luck's gone. The Texans, don't do it, Deshaun. Don't do it, dog. I know you want to go. And here's what I'm going to tell you. I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go. Deshaun, you ain't going nowhere. It's NFL. You done sign that dotted line, you're going to be there, and it's going to be hell. And I hate it for you. I shouldn't say don't do it, Deshaun. I should say don't do it to Deshaun. Build him a winner or let him go. He deserves that from you all. The Jags, y'all getting T-Law with a chip. And I ain't talking about a championship. I'm talking about a chip on his shoulder. You think about all the great quarterbacks, man. All the great quarterbacks enter the league with some type of chip on their shoulder. The best felt like they always got passed over. They didn't get recognized for what they were. Something didn't go their way. And you got a kid who's been the number 1 quarterback in high school, number 1 quarterback coming out, and he didn't really struggle at all much in college. But it's like, where's his edge going to come from? Where's that chip going to come from? It finally came. No postseason awards this year. They got boat raced by Ohio State in the national semifinals. So he's going to come into the league hungry. He's going to come into the league wanting to prove that, hey, he is who he said he was. Kid's lost 6 games in the last 7 years. Absolutely insane. He's going to come into Jacksonville with a chip on his shoulder. And I think he's going to be part of a new culture there in Jacksonville under Urban Meyer. Let's go to the NFC North, baby. Just relax. Y'all know who run the North. The Packers, you gotta love Aaron, baby. Discount double check. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And that's Aaron Rodgers at the top of the NFC North every freaking year. When healthy, obviously. The Bears, Money Mitch. He got you to the playoffs 2 years. If he wins the playoff game, if he upsets Drew Brees, do you pay him? More money, more problems. But do you pay Mitch? The on-field production ain't it, but he's winning the games. I wouldn't pay him. I would let him walk or give him a $15 million contract until I could find a guy I'm in love with personally. The Vikings. Diggs try to tell you that Cousins ain't the truth. Diggs try to tell you, like, hey, bro, that ain't my Kirk. Nah, he ain't my cousin. We ain't kinfolk, bro. That's y'all peoples. And I mean, it is what it is. Y'all ain't there. The Lions, free Matt Stafford, man. Y'all fired Matt Patricia, free Matt Stafford. Firing Jim Caldwell was like the biggest mistake y'all could have ever made. But hey, look, free Matt Stafford. AFC North, best division in football. Steelers, Mike Tomlin is Doc Rivers of the NFL. An important figure, obviously. Great black coach, championship pedigree, players coach, players love him. But it's just something about him that just isn't as great as you would want it to be. You you see, Doc, they say Doc got a ready-made team to win his championship in Boston. Mike T had Bill Cowher's ready-made team when he won his first championship. And they oftentimes come up short and they lose games they're not supposed to lose. And I'm rooting for Mike T this year because I'm a huge Mike Tomlin fan. And I just hope that the Steelers figure it out. The Browns, it ain't Baker. It ain't Baker. It's them running backs. So when it's time to pay him, you remember that. But another thing about the Browns is Odell Beckham. They got better when Odell Beckham left. Because they stopped focusing on feeding Odell and they focused on feeding the backs and feeding the open man. And I'm not gonna kill Odell for this. I refuse to kill Odell for this. I'm going to kill the Browns for not figuring out how to properly use Odell. So hopefully when Odell heals up, you let him you get rid of him, you get a draft pick, and you let him go somewhere so that he can thrive. What we got next? Ravens. Lamar is fine. Lamar is fine. I think that because he was so damn good that we wanted to tell him to go. We want to tell him that he's not good enough in the playoffs. But like, bro, it's been 2 years. It's 2 years. Baker ain't seen the play. Baker's just now seeing the playoffs. Sam Darnold ain't sniffed the playoff. Josh Rosen ain't sniffed the field. And Josh Allen looked terrible last year in the playoffs. We want to pressure Lamar because he already won a he already won an MVP, so he's supposed to win playoff games. Yes, he's supposed to win playoff games, but let's chill out. Lamar is fine. That passing game picked up, and I'm optimistic about the Ravens this year. Let me tell you, I'm super optimistic about the Ravens and what they'll be. The Bengals, Burrow will be back. Don't worry, Burrow will be back, and that's going to be a crazy competitive division when he gets back and they give him some help. All right, let's go out west to the NFC West. Wow, wow, West. Probably the second best division in football. Some would say the first, and I think it could be the best division next year. Seahawks, let Russ cook. Like Mark Schlereth said, let Russ simmer. It looked good when Russ was cooking this summer. At the beginning of the season, but guess what happens? The more and more you cook, the more and more people know your recipe, and then it don't taste as good. Once it becomes so common, it just don't taste the same when it's rare. And I think that the Seahawks, I want to credit Pete Carroll for this one because I think he heard what the media was saying. I think he said, you know what? Russ wants to cook. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let Russ cook, and I'm gonna show him what happens when you cook too much. And now the Seahawks are struggling towards the end of the season because they let Russ cook so much, and he's not cooking as well as he was. And they had to get back to doing what they used to do. Yes, injuries had a part of it, but you let Russ cook too much, man, he makes mistakes. You got to find that happy medium between letting Russ cook and letting the offense run. And I think they may find that in the playoffs. Maybe we'll see. The Rams, man, I pray for McVay because once they pay people, they go to hell. They gave Gurley the money, nothing. They gave Goff that money. He better off playing golf. But that defense is good. They're hitting. That Rams defense is scary, and they're really a quarterback away. The Cards, man, Kyler just came up short. They were looking good early, but he lost 5 of his last 7. The 49ers, damn Shanahan. That boy can coach. All he needs is a quarterback that he can trust. And by trust, I mean show up on Sunday. I mean, Jimmy G stays hurt. But if they get the right quarterback there, I think they'll be right back to where they were last year. Super Bowl contender, Super Bowl champion eventually. I like what Shanahan's doing. I'm not the biggest Shanahan fan because of what happened to 28-3, but as a play caller, man, is there anyone better? Do you see what he was doing with Mullins and people whose name I can't remember right now? Last division, AFC West. Is Patrick, Andy, and then everybody else. The Chiefs, they sleepwalking backwards and they're still better than 90% of the NFL. It's absolutely crazy how good they can be. I just hope they can maintain that momentum that they excuse me. I hope they can generate that some momentum into the playoffs and continue and actually play well. I hope they know where their on and off switch is and they actually turn it on because it's crazy that their off switch is better than so many other people's on switch. But like, is John the Raiders? Can John Gruden coach? Like, I ask for myself, not even a friend. Can John Gruden coach? Like, they start off hot and then they and he took Henry Ruggs and he was and you could have took, I don't know, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Judy, the receivers who are already rated higher than Ruggs. I mean, Ruggs is fast as hell, but he ain't trying to ride in that car with Derek. The Chargers. Lynn sanity is over, man. I was rooting for Anthony Lynn, but man, his game management was insanity, and he had to go. He just had to go. Like he just could not seem to win a close game, and it's like, man, we know you know how to coach. They love you here. They speak highly of you. They say you're a man's man. You're a great guy, but Jesus Christ, in a close game, you Falcons West. Lynn sanity is over. The Broncos, back away, Elway. I'm happy that you're no longer the GM and you're just the president of the team because Jesus Christ, you played quarterback better than almost anybody ever, but you can't pick one to save your life. I could pick a quarterback better than you. Come on, Elway. Back away. I'm happy to see that he's backing away and maybe, just maybe, the Denver Broncos will turn into something. But who knows, man? That's my division wrap up. Man, I let off. I tried to hit the division winners first and then just give you a little bit on each of the teams, man.